house and dance music is definitely therapy for me.
Going through the ears, but it's going to the heart as well. Like, it pumps a different kind of energy.
Emotions just flood out, and there's no controlling it when the music hits, like when it properly hits you, you know?
I think a lot of people outside of the scene misjudge raves, you know, thinking that you just go to get high, but I've been sober raving for years. House gives such a natural high, something you won't understand until you try it yourself, you know?
Like the freedom to let go and like to feel the music, to dance the night away and escape reality. It's just a part of me now, and it speaks to my soul.
They've helped me ride out some pretty difficult dark days. Really glad I'm able to help myself though, that I can turn to music and raving to ground myself and just be okay. I'm glad, yeah.
I really would say it is my life.
Right, let's rock and roll. Or should I say, let's house? Bad joke. So I was having to think about what we were talking about, and I think every religion, every culture, every sort of groupie get together for millennia, they've all, even going back to tribes people, I'm sure of this, right? They would have done some kind of get together and dance or sing on some kind of wavelength. We see that with churches every Sunday. We see that in temples around the world. Just get together, singing, dancing. And I think the spiritual side of it, just having someone in the same room as you, or having a few thousand or a few hundred people as you in the same room, and you're all on the same wavelength. And I think people, A, are looking for it, and B, are really good at it. So we've worked out that we like that and we're attracted to it. And I think going to a house music event or a rave is just an extension of that.
So, how do you feel when you're around people at a rave?
Oh, absolute bliss. I will never forget this one occasion where I was with my wife and we were dancing away, and she turned around to me and she goes, "Neil, this is like therapy," which I found funny at the time, but it was so true, because you're just in the moment and just caught in the moment, and nothing else in the world matters at all.
It's just like that connection. Somebody is a stranger right next to you. You don't know who they are, but you just look at each other and you're both on the same vibe. And it just feels magical, doesn't it?
Mm.
It's so good. In our house, we're all equal. It comes from Defected Records. It's like their mantra, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that sort of represents all cultures, all identities, ages as well. Everybody's welcome at these sort of events.
So Dad died middle of May. The build up to that was horrible because he'd been ill for so long. But we decided, my wife and I, to go to a rave just 5 days after that. We thought, you know what? Screw it, let's do it. And it was just wonderful. It was just brilliant. We didn't tell anyone we were going. We just went. It was just in the middle of Cambridge, and we were on the rooftop, and we were just releasing all those tensions. We just went and enjoyed it, and it was just beautiful. And did we feel guilty? No, didn't feel guilty at all. I think Dad would have wanted it. I was having a really bad day. And a song came on the radio, and it just lifted me up and it picked me up. It was all about things are going to be all right, and the sun is always shining. And then it was just this really strange day, because as I was driving, I pulled up, because I was having such a bad day, I had to pull up. And I had to turn the radio up, and I was sitting in the car and I was listening to it, and then weirdly this rainbow came from out of nowhere. I even took a photo of it. There was a rainbow, and it's just, I don't know, so something mystical, something universal, something magical. And it made me cry. I was actually crying. I was like, what on earth is going on? I don't know, but everything hopefully is going to be all right.
There's a lot of processes to create emotional vibes in a record, and it can come from many elements. But for me, it will always be something that's harmonic or chordal that will change a song. Seeing people connect to those records that we've made in the studio, I think, is such an important thing. So I think yes, it does need to connect with the crowd, and that does influence what I'm making in the studio.
I would say that when I talked to people and when I asked them what's your thinking about what brings people together the most, at the very top it was music, and they were placing more of an emphasis on this idea that just if you like the music that I like, something deep inside us is probably intersecting, right? Or can resonate with each other, right? Like we vibe.
I think house music can be a catalyst in the way people change or people react, and I know that from personal experience. I lost my dad 10 years ago now, and I definitely found a comfort within making music, and house music especially, so I think it definitely has a resonance with that fact.
I play to crowds who believe in, what we're talking about, and they believe in the scenes. The foundations of what we had then are still here now. When people are feeling the connection that I'm feeling, the connection with the music, it's spiritual. It's house music. It's what we strive to do.
So do you always listen to music when you're cooking?
Yeah, it's part of it.
Why is that?
Because then I don't burn stuff. If I know that Regulate by Warren G's on, that's 3 minutes and 42 seconds. So that and the air fryer, best mates.
Do you think house music and raving has changed your life? And if so, how?
Yeah, mate. For sure. Let's be real. It doesn't matter what I'm doing or where I am or what kind of environment I'm in. With the house music, it kind of correlates to every aspect of my life. And, to imagine a world without it would be really dull. To the core of it, you are touching into your childlike playfulness, which when you grow up and become an adult, the idea of play and the idea of pretending or envisioning a story and then expressing it through dance or dolls, teddies, whatever, the idea of play gets really lost when you turn to an adult. So I think for you to have these certain events booked in and know that you're going to go to this rave on this weekend, it motivates you to, get yourself hyped up, get your friends hyped up, get excited, which people don't do anymore. Like where is the release in doing a 9 to 5 and working with the end goal being money rather than happiness? When do you see someone in the street smiling, hugging strangers, actually losing themselves in the moment? That you just don't see it. And then when you're in this environment where everyone is there for that same purpose. No one's there to cause trouble. Everyone is just there for their own good and for their own mental well-being, if you will, because that's just the way to let go of reality, and it's really beautiful. So, being in a relationship and going to a rave is the best thing ever. I'd say my boyfriend, my Julie, I call him, when me and my Julie first got together, there was one thing that I really didn't like about him, and it was he had no idea of music knowledge. He had no idea about certain artists, and for me to get with someone who has next to no knowledge, like, he'll put on the radio and listen to whatever's on there. But when I said to him that we're going to go to a festival/rave together for the first time, his first one as well, I didn't know what he'd say. And then he turned around and he was like, is it something you really want to do? And I was like, yeah, of course, and I'd like you to be there. And he went, well, if you will love it, then I will love it. Changed his life. Like, it changed everything when you get to a rave or somewhere. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like butterflies are around your head, and it feels like you're looking at this person in a whole new light. You know, he could write me a card for my birthday and write the loveliest, longest paragraph or a fucking novel in my eyes. And I would much rather him get me a ticket for us to go to a rave, because I'll feel everything he's trying to say then than reading it on paper. I feel really lucky that I was the person to introduce him to it, and I was the person to give him that interest. Like Skepta said, if you like music, you like house music, but you just haven't realised it yet.
Last night I had a vision of a disco in the sky. I saw angels and saints dancing together. Like a mystical dream, it clouded my mind, but I remembered to move. I remembered that groove. I remembered the thump of the bass and the pump of the kick, because my heart was almost out my body and I felt free, I felt joy, I felt things I never thought I'd feel before. It was deep, it was soulful, it was techno, it was disco, a kaleidoscope of sounds. It was truly underground. It was an essential mix in the clouds where we could dance and sing out loud, and everybody loved everybody else. There was no hurt, there was no sorrow, there was no pain. And like children, we danced and we laughed and we played without a care in the world, without a flicker of despair. It was all about house music. It was that thing that we shared, a tribal feast of rhythm, a ceremony of sound. In my mind, I must have went to house heaven, because nothing's that divine.